preacher in truth, balance, and holiness. Let us arise in power. Can you imagine? From the time you were born, you heard people say that you were a nobody, that you were treated like a nobody. You might have heard people say that you couldn't do certain things, or you wouldn't do certain things, or maybe you shouldn't do certain things because of your race, your color, or your gender. Can you imagine to be considered less than human, to be treated like property? Can you imagine not allowed to attend a school because of your race or your color? Can you imagine not being able to work at a job because of your race or your color? Can you imagine facing being mobbed, murdered, gang raped, lynched, tarred, and even feathered because of your race and just the pure evil minds of ignorant, prejudiced people? Can you imagine?
Segregated restrooms, elevators, cemeteries, hospitals, pools, forbidden to go to public parks, segregated theaters and restaurants. Can you imagine even going to the courtrooms where a black person was given a different Bible than the white person to swear on? You weren't allowed to look at a white person. You weren't allowed to show public affection to your spouse or significant other in public. You weren't allowed to initiate a handshake with a white person because you were considered socially unequal. Can you imagine not being able to drink from the same water fountain, experiencing racial segregation in all public facilities? Can you imagine denied the right to vote, denied the right to hold jobs, denied the right to an education or other opportunities? This evil system of racial injustice could control your life, control your family, make you servants, and seize your children for labor. You face fines, you face jail sentences, violence, and death, all because of your race or color of your skin. Can you imagine? There was such a woman who may have witnessed or even experienced some of these awful conditions. In the heart of a city of Richmond, Virginia, was born a woman with a heart for the city and her people. She was a successful businesswoman, the first female owner and president of a bank in the United States of America, a teacher, an activist, fighting for the rights of women and civil rights for black people, a philanthropist, and an influential icon nationally. Her name, Maggie Lena Walker, not to be mistaken for Madam C. Walker. Maggie Walker was born in Richmond, Virginia, 1864. Her mother, a former slave and servant in the house of Elizabeth Van Lew. Her mother's name was Elizabeth Draper, a daughter of slaves. Maggie Walker's father was Eccles Cuthbert, a white Irish-born Confederate soldier, and also a correspondent editor of the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Her mother would eventually marry Elizabeth Van Lew's butler, William Mitchell, and Maggie Walker would take the name of her stepfather. There is little information available on the relationship between Maggie Walker's mother and her biological father. But it is said that Cuthbert wanted Maggie to move north for schooling. He also sent a white dress as a gift for Maggie Walker's graduation to wear, but the mother threw it out. And Maggie Walker's oldest son, Russell's middle name was Eccles, named after Maggie Walker's biological father. At the age of 14, Maggie Walker joined the local council of the Independent Order of St. Luke. She started her journey as an activist as a teenager, protesting against the inequality of white and black graduation ceremonies. Maggie Walker taught school during the day for 3 years and studied accounting at night. In 1886, Maggie Walker marries Armstead Walker. 1902, Maggie Walker establishes the newspaper St. Luke's Herald. And in 1903, she becomes the first female bank owner and president of the St. Luke Penny Savings Bank. In 1905, she would move to her house on Lee Street in Jackson Ward. With a long history of black businesses created by previously freed blacks, freed slaves, and their descendants. This area, Jackson Ward, was also known as Richmond's Black Wall Street of America, and sometimes referred to as Harlem of the South. It was a mecca for black businesses, restaurants, theaters, clubs, and prominent black people. Maggie Walker would become a national hero for black women and black people, a women bank owner, a store owner. An activist, meeting with the likes of W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington and Nannie Helen Burroughs, Mary McLeod Bethune. Maggie Walker was very innovative, driven, and very practical in all of her affairs. Maggie Walker experienced success, but yet she was not without hardships and tragedies in her life, no different than anyone else. Her husband was killed in the home due to an accidental shooting by the oldest son. 6 years later, the oldest son, Russell, died from health complications from excessive alcohol consumption. Maggie Walker would soon face physical challenges as a result of diabetes and became paralyzed. But that did not stop Maggie Walker from thriving and being an icon for women and for her people nationwide. Maggie Walker would soon have banks in 27 states. And every time you saw an image of Maggie Walker, it was a powerful image, a positive image. A woman that stood tall, exercising her greatness, standing tall in character and not bowing down to the conditions around her, and remaining faithful to herself and humanity.